We gotta get the rest of the file so we can find out where the money's going before the worm disappears, so we can find out who created it.
I know who wrote it.
What?
This Ellingson security creep. I gave him a copy of the disc you gave me.
You what?
Didn't know what was on it.
Oh, man. It's universally stupid, man.
Yo, man, you an amateur, man.
Why did he come to you?
I got a record. I was zero cool. It isn't a virus. It's a worm.
What's this one?
It nibbles. You see all of this?
Please, what we have here, when you bundle all this fraudulent voting in each one of the states, you have a major problem, John, with treason. It's high treason, what is going on in this country, on the leaders who are doing it. Not the people that are stuffing ballots. They're doing fraudulent voting. But, so we have high treason. Now, what should the president do? I believe he's got 3 cases in front of the Supreme Court now. If they do not take their responsibility, then we should take the following constitutional, John, constitutional actions. He's already done one. On the 20th of November, he executed an executive order declaring a national emergency because of the foreign involvement in the election. That's the Chinese Communist Party. Next, he should institute the Insurrection Act. He should declare martial law. He should set up military tribunals saying to the judiciary in our country, because you have not done your responsibilities to examine these gross violations, which they haven't even tried to hide anymore, of cyber warfare in both the voting machines from Dominion, as well as with the hammer and scorecard technology that the Obama administration walked away with, that top secret technology. So we're going to need military tribunals, and finally, we're going to have to suspend habeas corpus. Now, why do I say that? Because the president has got to start. We know who these people are. They're the same people that started the Russian collusion issue. They're the same people that started the impeachment on a telephone call. They're the same people that have done this. Start arresting them. It's so massive, John. It is so massive that people are going to sing. And they're going to sing loud and clear.
This is every financial transaction Ellingson conducts, yeah? From $1 million deals to the $10 that some guy pays for gas.
The worm eats a few cents from each transaction.
No one's caught it because the money isn't really gone. It's just data being shifted around.
And when the worm's ready, it zips out with the money and erases its trail.
Joey got cut off before he got to that part. Check it out. By this point, it's already running at what? Twice the speed as when it started.
Zero cool, crashed 1,507 systems in one day.
And at this rate, it ends its run in
2 days.
Judging by this segment alone, man, it's already eaten about
$21.8 million, man.
That talks it was written by someone who's a current staffer for one of the Supreme Court justices. And this, I'll just describe the report to you that I read, and you can make of it what you will. He said that the justices, as they always do, went into a closed room to discuss cases they're taking or to debate. There's no phones, no computers, no nothing. No one else is in the room except for the 9 justices. It's typically very civil. They usually don't hear any sound. They just debate what they're doing. But when the Texas case was brought up, he said he heard screaming through the walls as Justice Roberts and the other liberal justices were insisting that this case not be taken up. And the reason, the words that were heard through the wall when Justice Thomas and Justice Alito were citing Bush versus Gore from John Roberts were, I don't give up about that case. I don't want to hear about it. At that time, we didn't have riots. So what he was saying was that he was afraid of what would happen if they did the right thing. And I'm sorry, but that is moral cowardice. And we in the SREC, I'm an SREC member, we put those words in very specifically because the charge of the Supreme Court is to ultimately be our final arbitrator, our final line of defense for right and wrong. And they did not do their duty. So I think we should leave these words in because I want to send a strong message to them. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion on the amendment to the motion?
Mr. Chairman, I raise a point of order against further consideration.
Boom!
Whoever wrote this needs somebody to take the fall. And that's Freak, and that's Joey.
The Chinese Communist Party has a saying when it comes to their warfare, psychological warfare operations, and other forms of subversion. Strangle you with your own systems. In other words, observing how different countries operate, what is controversial within their systems, how does their system function, how can we use those systems to twist things around, to cause chaos, to mess things up, to use it against them. You say you believe in free speech? We'll have protests in your own backyard calling you out. You say you believe in free press? Well, we'll start up state-run media in your country, and we'll use those state-run media to lie to your population, to spread our propaganda. That's what they do. You believe in free markets? How about we bring state-run companies that can sell below cost and put your companies out of business and take over your industries? That's what they're doing, right? Strangle you with your own systems. And what is controversial in the United States? What is most controversial? Racism. This race narrative, they know they can use it. They've been doing it for a very long time. There are different groups, for example, Committee of 100 in the US, who every time a Chinese spy is arrested, they call it racism, because they know that's what we're sensitive to. The Chinese military has a doctrine on this, the three warfares doctrine: psychological warfare, media warfare, and legal warfare. This is publicly adopted into their military doctrine. This is part of their military system. Now, what are these? Psychological warfare is not necessarily lying to you. Psychological warfare is altering how you interpret information. And so when you see a virus coming out of China and people say this virus came out of China, if you call it the Chinese virus, they want to use this and twist it around and say it is racist if you talk about the origin of this virus. What is media warfare? Media warfare is the manipulation or control of outlets of information, not just news outlets, but say social media, online platforms, the ability to speak openly. Anything that would allow people to communicate would be a target of media warfare. And what is legal warfare? Legal warfare is a manipulation of international legal systems. The Chinese Communist Party, for them, this is adopted into their military code. This is war fighting to them.
Biggest crash in history. Front page New York Times, August 10th, 1988. I thought you was black, man. Yo, man, this is zero cool! Oh, shit! That's far out. This is zero cool, man! Ooh.
Yo, that's great. There goes MIT.
I'll make it up.
Yeah? How?
Hack the Gibson.
Dude, they'll trace you like that, man. The cops are gonna find you. They're gonna find you with a smoking gun.
Fuck if I care, man.
Look, even if you had the password, it'd take you 10 minutes to get in, and you still gotta find the files, man. I mean, the cops will have you in 5 minutes.
Speaking of Joe Biden, bad karma coming through once again.
This is my rifle, this is my gun. This is for Biden, this is for fun. This is my rifle, this is my gun. This is for Biden, this is for fun. This is my rifle, this is my gun. This is for Biden, this is for fun.
Did you guys see all those smear articles written about the QAnon movement yesterday? Seems like the media might be panicking, huh? Now why would that be? It's not because they were antagonized by my self-destructing Twitter messages. It's also not because they've finally noticed the striking similarity between the 8chan logo, the logo of this Israeli cybersecurity firm where Admiral Rogers works, and the logo of this NSA reverse engineering tool called Ghidra. It's because they are finally realizing that we are not the kooky little scrubs they have been reporting us to be. That we are rational, smart, and articulate. That we don't eschew people that we disagree with. We verbally engage with them, even if they insult us in the process. And they are seeing patriots of all persuasions unite around the common desire for an abrupt end to the decades of wanton corruption and sadistic abuse by our government. In fact, as those articles were dropping, I was actually heading to see Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is a lefty comedian who has a popular YouTube show that he hosts with his awesome wife, Steph Zamorano, and his hilarious friends, Ron Placone and Graham Elwood. Jimmy Dore platforms some of the sharpest thinkers on the left, people like Julian Assange, Bill Binney, Michael Tracy, Aaron Mattei, Matt Taibbi, and Glenn Greenwald. He also greatly influences the political leanings of many other famous comedians such as Joe Rogan and Bill Burr. And he has served as a campaign surrogate for Tulsi Gabbard. Now, there are many things I disagree with Jimmy on, but Jimmy has been one of the only prominent lefties brave enough to publicly challenge the banana republic level of corruption in the Democratic Party, and to tell the truth as he sees it, whether or not it happens to help Team Blue on a given day. He has stood almost alone in his coverage of WikiLeaks, the Seth Rich murder, the DNC primary rigging of 2016, and the false flag chemical weapons attacks in Syria. He also, with some of his regular guests, has stood almost alone on the left in debunking the Russia collusion hoax and the Ukraine impeachment hoax. I'll provide some examples below for you to take a look at. His brave truth-telling to his lefty audience has resulted in the same kind of social media throttling, demonetization, and Bush League censorship that we experience here in the Q Horde. It has also gotten him slandered in the press. Guess what they call him? A stooge of the Kremlin! Isn't that hilarious? So check out how he responds. By going on a nationwide tour clowning on Democrats' corruption and showing big rooms full of lefties stuff like this.
They allegedly used to allegedly cultivate Donald Trump.
Bullshit, no proof.
He did a deal with the Russians.
The Russians.
The guys who said all along that there's no Russia. You're 100% wrong, and you're going to be proven wrong.
Isn't that amazing? Absolutely roasting those ratchet donkeys. I encourage all of you to check him out and support his great work. You definitely won't agree with everything he says, but you will be very entertained nonetheless. He's probably going to take a lot of flack from other lefties in the next few weeks, both for going on Tucker Carlson last week and for taking that picture with me last night. So let's show some love and do what we do best and defend him when those kangaroo journalists try to slander him for the high crime of talking to people that he doesn't always agree with. Because we are a free people. And we will not be cowed or constrained by any kangaroo journalists. We will talk to whomever we damn well please. And if they don't like that, then they can cluck off, like the gobbling little hens that they are. The day we allow corrupt politicians and their pet kangaroos to sort us into insular little categories that aren't allowed to talk to each other is the day that we lose America.